It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Welcome to 2K Sports, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, sitting alongside the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, and the prop plane, Kenny Smith. Tonight we'll see the Oklahoma City Thunder playing against the Pistons in Detroit. Well, for Detroit, the season hasn't gone as smoothly for them as I'm sure they hoped it would. The good news is we still have a good chunk of it left to play, but if they're going to make a run, they better do it soon. And tonight, two offenses that like to score in the post. Shaq, defensively, how do you counteract that?
Two types of denying. Deny the position and deny the entry pass.
Yes.
Sounds like you're in a state of denial.
I deny everything you just said.
Is it just me? I thought that was funny.
But you know what the other thing you could do, Shaq? If you pressure the passer, what it does is then it allows the defender to have more time to get around on the defensive and provide.
You're lucky I didn't guard you in your career.
Oh, I would have went right by you.
You're lucky.
I would have hoped you pressured me.
Let's go to Kevin Harlan. It's time for the tip.
It's interconference time for these Thunder as they come in as the visiting team. We've got some terrific NBA action in store for you today. Alongside Doris Burke and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan. And on the sidelines, Hall of Famer David Aldridge. The Pistons hoping for a happy ending to close out their homestand before hitting the road. There's no question this game will put them to the test. Facing off against a team that has every expectation of beating them, they'll need to play a complete game to snare a win.
And right now for the Pistons, so far it looks like the adjustments they made in the offseason aren't going to produce the desired effect.
And remember, this was a team that had talked about the importance of getting off to a quick start. This has been a worst-case scenario. Their confidence looks shaken.
And nothing tips off a broadcast like getting the lowdown from the sidelines. And we've got David Aldridge there for that. David, good evening.
Well, guys, Paul George has made a reputation as a dynamic two-way player. He said you can dominate a game in so many ways. That's always been my mindset. I just go out there and ball. Kevin, back to you.
Well, you love that versatility, DA. Thank you. Well, we're right around the halfway point of the season, Doris. This is often when we see the better teams really begin to shift gears and surge ahead.
Yeah, we certainly have a better feel for who the contenders might be. We still have a long way to go, obviously, and teams will have some lulls and then some high points, and you've got to be able to weather all of those things. But the reality is we have a greater understanding of who has the necessary offensive and defensive components to compete at a championship level.
So here's Oklahoma City's starting group. Westbrook and Robertson, the backcourt. Adams is out there with Markieff Morris, and it's George in at the small forward position. Now here's Westbrook. Just 5 to shoot. Oklahoma City needs to get off a shot. Morris, no good. They swipe it. Here's the lob to Adams, and stolen by Ellington. And he jams it with authority.
And guys got careless with the ball there, and the turnover leads to the big stuff.
Once he came upright with the steal, he went straight on the attack.
Fantastic anticipation. Then he shows major explosiveness converting at the other end.
Here's Griffin. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
And Blake Griffin said early in his career he used to rely on his athleticism to get by. He said the problem was every season he'd be worn out by February. So diversifying his offensive game has helped him to kind of withstand the rigors of a long NBA season.
No good on that one. And Greg, you look at a lot of the volume dunkers over the years, their bodies often wear down. You think of Amari Stoudemire, Antonio McDyess, even Dwight Howard.
Yeah, and I think Griffin could see the writing on the wall. He used to get over 200 dunks in the season, now less than half that number. But the trade-off, hopefully, will be longevity and an increased skill set.
Well, Paul George routinely making these difficult shots look easy. He's showing how dominant he truly is.
Now here's Jackson. In the loss to the Warriors the other night, definitely not himself. Griffin attacking. The shot missing. And Oklahoma City will go with it the other way. First chance of the season for them to go up against this Pistons team.
And going back a season ago, it was a win for both sides in their two meetings.
You know, despite the disparity in talent, these two teams played each other tough last year. Let's see how competitive they are this time around. And just the kind of start you're hoping to avoid. 1 for 5 from the field here early on.
And he likes to get in a rhythm early. Nice triple.
Now here's Westbrook. He's coming off a 25-point game against Atlanta.
His passing definitely came into play as well, Kev. He was very unselfish, really kept the ball moving.
Here's Robertson. It's over Ellington. That misses off the backboard.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that one.
In the corner, it's Robinson. And another three for Detroit.
You know, outstanding start. You've made 3 of your first 4.
The Thunder have gotten only 1 of 6 shots to drop for them to start this game. Here's George. The shot, no good. Excellent D that time from Robinson. Griffin kicks to Robinson. To the inside. Got a piece of it. Drummond. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City.
That's just superb interior defense, not allowing him a free run to the rim.
And again, Oklahoma City, no good. And the foul called on Markieff Morris. That'll be his second foul of the game. Jeremy Grant, he's checked in for Markieff Morris. Jackson passes to Griffin. Jackson up top. He's covered by Westbrook. And Jackson gets it to go. Jackson's got his first points of the night.
And the story here, Kevin, early on is how well they've shot the basketball.
And first timer of the game called for Oklahoma City.
You know, and Reggie Jackson, a really solid first season and a half in Detroit. But the last 2 seasons, injuries have really held him back.
Now we get a chance to check out the standings out east already. We are in December. You look at the Celtics. They've got the #1 record in the conference, and because of it, each night out, their competition is going to bring it right at them. And, of course, there's the Pistons, 9.5 games behind.
And I think for the Pistons, their season has been exactly the kind of misadventure their fans were afraid it might be.
And with the major changes we know are coming, now you have players fighting for their jobs, trying to prove they deserve to be here beyond the end of this season.
And Reggie Jackson in 2016-17 battling knee tendonitis. Last season, Greg, a severe right ankle sprain.
I mean, he's so important in terms of his impact for the Pistons. An athletic, physical player. When he's right, he can be a difference maker on both ends.
And that one falls for Westbrook.
When you think about the Oklahoma City Thunder, you have to start and end the conversation with the historic regular seasons put on by Russell Westbrook. The one thing you have to wonder, has he taken them as far as he can?
And both free throws good for Westbrook. And if you're building a team around Westbrook on paper, Doris, how do you do it?
Well, he's a player, obviously, who needs the basketball in his hands. And if you look at a team like the Rockets, where James Harden is complemented by shooters and a rim runner, you wonder if that's the blueprint for somebody like Russell Westbrook.
Grant, that's good.
Now, this guy is a high percentage shooter from this particular area. Because he can elevate off the floor, it's nice and efficient. Robinson
against George. Outside Robinson. 6 on the shot clock. Over George. And Detroit again with the bucket.
Wow, hats off to him for making that one. You can't find a much tougher shot than that.
Robertson dishes to Westbrook. Back to Robertson. Adams trying to free himself up. Robertson can't hit.
And right from the start, Kevin, they've been pounding the glass. Most of those 50-50 balls also going their way.
George finds Adams. Rebound, Detroit. Drummond's got his 6th rebound on the night. Ellington from outside. And no good. And it's Oklahoma City the other way. They're coming into this game off that recent loss to Atlanta.
And they had a ton of missed opportunities at the foul line. That's always a game changer.
I think it's impossible for fans to understand why you can't shoot a higher percentage when there's no defense on you, right? Quality free throw shooting so crucial to winning.
Here's Jackson following the basket by Russell Westbrook. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Westbrook. Releases. Offensive rebound. A second chance effort. And there's the nice layup by Drummond.
And not afraid to say it. If Drummond isn't the best rebounder in the NBA, he's got to be in the top 3. That goes for both ends of the floor. Just no way to hold him in check on the board.
Westbrook. Rebound, Detroit. Moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Warriors.
Yeah, their last outing was a rough one. Have to be careful of falling in love with that 3.
Right, exactly, Greg. When the shots from the perimeter are not falling, I think you've got to go take it inside. It's as simple as that. They never altered their game plan, and it resulted in a loss.
What a find by Griffin. He's a lot more skilled as a passer than he gets credit for as far as power forwards go. He has terrific vision.
Time called here. The Thunder decide to talk it over. And for Detroit, a lot of changes, Greg, in their front office this past offseason.
A new GM and Dwayne Casey brought in to coach. Could see a drastic shift in style and approach for the Pistons moving forward.
Thunder trailing by 9. To the paint. Here's Westbrook. That one falls. His second basket of the game. He's now 2 for 3.
You have to do the best you can to keep Russell Westbrook out of the paint because he does some of his best work right there.
And George, here we go. Some solid defense from Robinson.
A team's rebounding is a great measure of its energy, and theirs has been terrific here in the first quarter.
Here's Jackson.
The hustle, the energy. Andre Robertson gives it to you on the defensive end every single night.
Westbrook passes to Adams. Hammers the alley-oop through.
Well, simply put it in the vicinity of Steven Adams, and his great hands makes that dunk look easy.
And that unleashed chaos replay presented by Under Armour. Cover Havoc, giving us a chance to relive that exciting play.
And when he gets himself into the right position, Drummond so powerful in terms of finishing at the rim. The only way to prevent that alley-oop is to keep him from getting to the launching pad in the first place. And so far this quarter, he's been a little off on his game.
Yeah, scoring isn't coming naturally to him right now. It looks a little bit uncomfortable out there.
I mean, he's just making the D look foolish. I mean, that was one heck of a move to get himself the space he needed to operate.
And how about the slam to finish it off? Not too shabby either. Now, here's Westbrook. He's got 6. And George kicks to Westbrook. Shot clock at 6. And he uses the glass on the layup. Westbrook's got 8. And it's Jackson with the ball, bringing it up for Detroit. 7-point differential. The Pistons working the ball around now. Griffin finds Jackson. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. They get Russell Westbrook. Doris, look in your crystal ball. 5 years from now, who do you think will be the 2-3 best players in the NBA?
Well, certainly some of the names. I won't say this is a definitive list, but as long as health holds, I'm going to give you 3 men who are going to be bad men in the NBA for a long time. Giannis Antetokounmpo, because the Greek freak is able at his size to handle it, take it off the window, and dominate action in transition. If he gets a consistent jump shot, forget about it. Ben Simmons, exactly the same thing. His passing ability is extraordinary. I think you'll see him get a low post game, and I think he'll get a jump shot, and he will be unguardable. And one of my absolute favorites is Mr. Joel Embiid. Give it to you inside, give it to you outside. Mr. Embiid can handle it. He can dominate with his defense. Those 3 men are going to be all-stars for a long, long time.
Here's Westbrook following the 3 by Detroit. In the corner, George with it. And that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. He's got 5.
We know that Russell Westbrook will have the ball in his hands and initiate their offense. And how about that superior passing?
And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here. And Russell Westbrook, he is a standard bearer for the Jordan brand with his own signature shoe, Greg. Few players have ever been as competitive as Michael Jordan, but you think Westbrook may be in that conversation.
No doubt about it. The similarities don't end there. The surreal athleticism, the will to dominate, and that fight, finding grudges to motivate them to their highest level. I think there's a kinship in how MJ and Russ approach the game.
And here's Smith after Paul George getting his 3 to go. 5 on the clock, and the basket by Maker.
The offense is running well, but more importantly, they're taking the shots they know they can make.
Well, they haven't had to force anything. They're simply moving the ball and working for the best available shot.
Now, here's Westbrook. 10 points for him. Adams, the pass to Westbrook. Great pass to set up the lay-in. Westbrook's got 12 in the game.
And they're forcing the ball inside, and it's working like a charm.
Detroit leading by 7. Smith kicks to Galloway. Out to Smith. The Pistons need to get off a shot here. That one wide left. Thunder trailing by 7. Inside, here's Grant, and that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. Westbrook's got 3 assists tonight.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Here's Kennard. No points in the game yet for him. Here's Grant. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line.
And taking a look at some numbers for George. He's been on a remarkable tear this past month, putting up about 25 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He has been terrific throughout, putting up some huge numbers offensively.
Well, and this is exactly who he is, a flat-out scoring machine. You plug him in and let him go to work.
The free throw drops for Grant. Doris, I'm looking at Jeremy Grant, a second-round pick back in 2014 out of Syracuse. The Grant family has produced a number of NBA players. What do you think caused him to slip to the second round?
Well, Jeremy Grant was definitely a young man drafted on potential. Here we have a great athlete whose game is still sort of rounding its way out. He has gotten on the floor in the NBA because of his defense, his ability to run in transition, and I think on the offensive end, there are a number of areas he can improve on. He can become a knockdown mid-range shooter. He can get 8 to 10 points in transition or offensive rebounds. There's a lot to like here, Kevin.
Now, here is Smith. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 7.5 points a game. Guys, we've seen some excellent offensive output.
Yeah, great momentum for them offensively. Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Pass to Kennard. Now the pass to Maker. Smith outside. Shoots. He squares up and sinks it. Smith's got 5. And so Westbrook will bring it up for Oklahoma City. They trail by 3. And Robertson has it in the corner. Grant outside. Pass to George. 4 on the clock. 4-3. Westbrook. That falls. Nice feed that time from George. George has got 3 assists in the game. 2 for 1 opportunity here if they want it.
And no doubt, Kevin, if I'm them, I go for it.
Kennard, the pass to Pachulia. Nice ball movement by Detroit. Smith, no good.
And they've come out with a take-no-prisoners approach on the glass here tonight, guys.
And the 3 ball is good.
Consistent shooter from outside the arc. Paul George is terrific at finding space when he needs to get a shot off.
Smith outside. Out to the wing. Paul George with the steal. Oh, and a fast break for Oklahoma City. Finished off the break. 10 points for him.
Yeah, Kev, the speed in transition. Paul George is dynamic in space.
Russell Westbrook has been leading the charge for Oklahoma City. He was a true standout at the offensive end, both with his scoring and his passing. Back to the action after this word. Paul George had that nasty broken leg back in 2014. He describes what inspired him to come back even stronger.
My inspiration really came from my mother. You know, her dealing with stroke, her dealing with really being down and out. You know, I saw her fight back. That was enough for me. In my darkest days, I knew it was nothing to what my mom went through, and she came out perfectly fine. So.
Well, what a story. George worked hard to get back and is not disappointed in his return.
You know, recovering from a devastating injury is never easy, but George's perspective and commitment helped him to overcome it.
And for those of you just tuning in, the second quarter of action is where we're at right now. What stands out to you from Oklahoma City in this one?
I mean, they're winning the turnover battle, and oftentimes that can swing things your way.
Well, you really like the activity on the defensive end. Outstanding jumping into passing lanes and coming up with steals.
On the floor for Oklahoma City, getting going here in the second quarter. Robertson and George fill out the wings. Markieff Morris is out there with Steven Adams. And it's Westbrook in at the point guard position. Here's Westbrook following the bucket by the Pistons. Passes it to Robertson. Back to Westbrook. Here's Morris. And that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. Westbrook's got his 7th assist of the game with that last one. Pistons trail by 7. Smith feeling it out a bit. Pass to Kennard. Back to Smith. And it's denied.
The defense from Andre Robertson is nothing short of sensational.
And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
The Pistons went for it last season, bringing in Blake Griffin and trading away picks and players. Didn't work out the way they wanted, but they are determined to make a go of it. They're in a brand new building, and they hope that their moves in the future will draw fans back to the franchise. Kevin?
Good overview, David. Thank you.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And he knocks down the first one. The Oklahoma City Thunder with one of the more rabid fan bases, Doris, in the NBA.
Well, 7 straight seasons of sellouts. There's something about the love affair you find in these small market one sport towns. This is an organization that has the complete and full support of their community.
No good on the second, so he hits 1 of 2.
What a story for Markieff Morris, taken exactly 1 pick before his twin brother Marcus back in 2011.
second quarter. We're a little over a minute and a half in. A chance to extend the lead to double digits, but it's no good. There's the pass to Galloway. Just his first attempt, and too long on the shot.
And as he squares up for mid-range, the defender right in his face.
Well, classic example of crowding the shooter, not letting him get comfortable in the mid-range.
How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today, ending with a basket coming off a pretty pass?
Maker, no one around him, and again it's the Pistons missing. Oklahoma City leading by 10. Westbrook feeling it out a bit. Kicks it to Adams. Lobbed up there for Westbrook. Takes the alley-oop pass and dunks it down.
How about the high-flying antics of Russell Westbrook? The alley-oop, my goodness, that's pretty.
Some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, right now you just need a bucket to get some momentum.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. Doors are seeing a lot of movement on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of screening, a lot of movement, obviously, without the ball. Does that require more awareness, not only on the offensive side to make those moves, but also defensively?
No, I don't think there's any question about it. One of the most important things you can do if you're an excellent defensive team is you start with communication. So as that action starts, the movement and the screening, are the teammates talking? Screen coming right, screen coming left. Do we want to trap the screen? Do we want to make sure the ball gets out of a certain player's hands? Communication in this day and age against motion offenses has got to be at the top of the list defensively.
Well said. And Adams with the slam. Adams has got the lead up to 12 now for Oklahoma City.
Well, Russell Westbrook, great unselfishness right there, dropping dimes and continuing to work.
It's stolen by Adams. Westbrook kicks to George. The shot's good. George has got 12 in the game.
Yeah, the chemistry has been terrific. Really impressed with their offensive execution.
Smith finds Griffin. Lobbed up there for Drummond, and Drummond throws it down.
And maybe that'll trigger them. Impossible not to get pumped up after that.
Yeah, well, you could see the immediate reaction of the guys on the bench. They are pumped up. Now here's Westbrook. He's got 17. And here's George for 3. Rebound, Detroit. Drummond's got rebound number 10 tonight with that last one.
He has that confidence rolling, hitting 2 threes in the first, but he hasn't had one since.
Smith kicks to Griffin. Over Morris. Misses off the right iron. And here's Westbrook. He'll bring it up for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Here's Robertson. Ellington defending. Griffin against Morris. George, that's a 2-pointer. And the foul called on Markieff Morris. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far. Reggie Jackson's checked in for Smith. And Oklahoma City with a change here, too. Dennis Schroeder's checked in for Robertson. Pistons trail by 12. Pass to Griffin. Over Morris. Outside for Jackson. Back to Griffin. Outside Jackson. Just 4 to shoot. Over Westbrook. Detroit, no good that time either.
Superb defense, guys. No way he's going to let him get off a clean look at the basket.
Pass to Morris. In the corner, George with it. Bangs home the trifecta. George has got 15 points.
Now, Paul George is a phenomenal catch-and-shoot guy. Measures the shot before receiving the pass. It's hard to guard.
Griffin passes to Ellington. Back to Griffin. Lets it fly. Detroit, no good that time either.
Boy, a wide open look from mid-range that goes by the wayside. You can tell he's upset.
George finds Morris. Back to George. Stolen by Robinson. And the foul called on Markieff Morris. That's his fourth foul of the contest.
And that's his fourth foul. And we're not even at halftime. That is going to limit his playing time and his aggressiveness the rest of the game.
And the Thunder making a switch here. Noel's checked in. Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over.
Yeah, he's got to make some adjustments here. Just too easy to score in the lane against them right now.
But, Greg, no resistance, right? They're allowing them to get any kind of shot they want close. That simply can't happen.
Now here's Griffin. His last outing, we saw him pour in 22. Fades. And a little luck that time, but it drops. Griffin's got his first basket of the night.
You know, being that wide open sometimes leads to a miss, but that fadeaway was money.
Westbrook with it. He's got 17. And here's George. Westbrook with it. Guarded now by Jackson. And Noel kicks to Adams. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Schroeder. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. And the Thunder lead by 15.
I think one thing Dwayne Casey has learned is it's important to keep your star players fresh by managing minutes in the regular season. That way, you're not worried about fatigue or injury.
Griffin's shot is off.
Well, it's been an up-and-down quarter for him on the offensive end. Mostly down, though.
And Griffin sends it back. Robinson up top, defended by George. And the rejection by Noel.
This is a staple of his game. Nerlens Noel sends it back.
The three-pointer is right on target. And with Casey, he also keeps his team doors on their toes.
Right, and it goes beyond the ability to stretch deep into your bench, right? You have to mix up your practices. You have to mix up your daily routines. All the little things to keep his players from going through the motions.
And they keep hammering away at him inside, forcing the ball into the paint.
Outside Westbrook. Pass to George. And he was one of many big names in free agency this past summer. Paul George, a huge part of that. But, you know, Greg, he didn't take long to make his decision.
Many expected George to maybe jump to the Lakers. Had been saying it was his dream to play in L.A. for over a year. But credit Westbrook and the Thunder. They won him over. He was one of the first signings in free agency to re-up with OKC.
That one is no good.
Well, I don't know that when he was selected 10th overall back in 2010, that the casual fan understood that Paul George would become one of the most effective two-way players in the NBA, but he's done just that.
Man, can you always depend on him or what to lead you to the right place with that pass? Money.
Schroeder kicks to Adams. Oklahoma City moving the ball around. Westbrook dishes to Adams. And that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. 6 points for Steven Adams.
You know, he's had better starts, obviously, but he's shaking it off here in the second.
Pistons trail by 17. Outside Robinson. A shot by Griffin. Nobody around. Buries it from three-point range.
Well, he's a guy that can adapt and adjust to any defense he's up against. It's really something to watch.
Westbrook passes to George. Basket is good. He'll get a chance for one more at the line.
I'll tell you, this guy will not stop pouring it on. It doesn't matter what approach they've tried to use against him. He has had an answer for everything.
He's made one and missed one so far in the game. Kennard, he's checked in for Wayne Ellington.
Well, you think back to a time when people wondered if Westbrook was too aggressive playing with KD. They said Russ was taking too many shots. No questions anymore. Westbrook is the man in OKC.
They get it back. Drummond, and 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact.
Yeah, I don't know if any big man has the combination of strength, speed, and hops that Drummond has, not to mention his length, an unreal physical specimen.
He misses the free throw. And for Westbrook, winning the MVP and averaging a triple-double for an entire season, Greg, how much does he have left to prove?
Well, it's all about winning. We know Russ can take over a game. We know he can make his teammates better. How much better and how far they get in the playoffs, that's the real question.
And he sinks the second. Oklahoma City leading by 16. He dishes it to George. There's the pass to Noel. Schroeder finds Adams. Back to Schroeder. Pass to Adams. Just 5 on the clock. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession. And a quick look at how the Oklahoma City Thunder's schedule is shaping up. On Wednesday, they're off to Brooklyn to face off with the Nets. And then on Friday, they'll go up against the Bulls in Chicago.
And looking at that Jazz matchup, this is one where it would take a complete meltdown for them not to come away with the win. Anything can happen, but I'd be shocked if they don't come out on top.
Really good work in the painted area. You need to have the inside game working like that.
Back to Westbrook. Griffin with the steal. Over Noel. The putback. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points.
I think you could see early on that he was really with a rhythm and flow tonight, and now he's really starting to take off.
Here's George. And so Oklahoma City again turning it over. And the leaderboard with some point guards who have been getting their hands dirty in the paint lately. Let's take a look at the top rebounding one guards of the last 10 games. Russell Westbrook, number 1.
And, well, rebounding isn't something you really think too much about with point guards, but he places a lot of emphasis on doing whatever it takes to contribute, even on the boards.
You know, he really has built a reputation as a point guard who can do a lot of the little things you don't usually get from that position. And right at the forefront is his rebounding ability. He can more than hold his own in the paint.
And so it's Jackson who brings it up for the Detroit Pistons. Next up for them, the Bucks in Milwaukee. That'll be just one game played away from home for them. Here's Kennard. He's covered by Westbrook. It's good, and the Thunder lead is cut down to just 12 points on the bucket from Andre Drummond.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
Now a timeout called by Oklahoma City. In addition to going over the game plan and making whatever necessary adjustments have to be made, Greg, this timeout also the time for players to get rehydrated or hydrate for the first time with some Gatorade. Plenty of basketball still to be played here, and they have to get recharged.
That's a great point. Without proper hydration, a player can completely run out of gas down the stretch of a game, and that's something that none of these guys can afford to have happen. If you're going to battle all the way to the finish, you have got to be hydrated.
The Thunder have made 7 out of 9 when they've stepped to the line.
This season, in general, has not been kind to them at the free throw line. Only about 71%.
When you think about Billy Donovan, to me, he's a guy who values trust and building relationships with players. This guy is not a dictator. He wants to help players grow and develop, and that helps you win.
Second shot opportunity. He feeds it to Pachulia. And stolen by Noel. And now the fast break. George with the ball. And the basket is good. Felton's got his first 2 points. And for Coach Billy Donovan, the process of developing NBA players' doors has to be different than it was in college.
Oh, no doubt. At the pro level, many guys are making more money than you are. A lot of them have families. They've already grown into themselves. But to me, he still emphasizes the fact that great relationships with your players is important.
Shot clock at 2. Galloway, true on the 14-footer.
And Kevin, they started the game shooting it so well. I'm surprised they haven't continued. They've got to get back to their strength.
Now here's Felton. He's averaging a bit over 5 points a game.
Another foul would give him 3 before the half. Something to keep an eye on, guys.
For Oklahoma City, they have made their free throws at a pretty good clip. They've hit 8 of 10. The first one falls.
So, Kevin, Russell Westbrook wins the 2017 MVP award. Does he relax and rest on his laurels? Heck no. This guy is just striving for greatness. I love it.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pistons. Thon Maker comes in for Andre Drummond. And Smith subbed in for Reggie Jackson. So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. Tipped away. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Westbrook. .20 seconds left in the second quarter. Smith against Westbrook. Smith kicks to Kennard. Ball's knocked loose. Near the three-point line, it's Westbrook, and the last shot at the buzzer doesn't go in for him. And so it's the Oklahoma City Thunder with a sizable lead as the quarter wraps up. They're ahead 16 points. They've got their field goal percentage to thank for that. They've been hot from all over the floor tonight. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Here with Billy Donovan. Coach, you've embraced Russell Westbrook's workhorse, do-it-all mentality. How did he play in the first half?
Well, he's aggressive right now, and I want him to be aggressive. You know, he shot a high percentage in the first half, and he's been great all year long.
Certainly playing at a high level. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, David. And we'll be back shortly following halftime to get the third quarter underway.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back to you, I guess.
And you.
Not you.
Not him?
You.
Oh, her for sure.
Them.
Yes.
This is Ernie Johnson. That's Kenny, that's Shaq. You're watching the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. An outstanding first quarter for Paul George. He ended up with 22 points, 4 assists, and also 3 steals. Kenny, let's get your take on Oklahoma City.
I love the way they're getting after it in the paint. Moving bodies, attacking the rim, scoring at will. Sometimes teams try to hurt you with the 3-ball. They went right for the heart of the defense. Look at them to keep pounding it inside and staying physical.
Shaq, what'd you think about the Pistons?
The first thing to say is, what's up with the turnovers? Jeez. You can live with some missed shots and stuff like that, but you can't keep turning the ball over. It's crushing for a team. It just saps all your confidence when you play a half like that, Ernie. Ugh.
And that's going to do it for us here. The second half of action is coming your way.
And welcome back to the Motor City with a look at the Renaissance Center, which dominates the skyline in downtown Detroit. Well, we've got a second half of basketball for you. We think it's going to be pretty good. A big comeback, though, is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. You look at Paul George in this game, guys, he's been everywhere.
Yeah, so far they haven't found an answer for him, a scoring machine here in that first half.
And it's mattered not, Greg, whether he's been spotting up or creating for himself. He was unstoppable, and you hope it carries over to the second half.
And as we dive into the second half, we'll find out if the next two quarters are any different from the first two. So far, it has been a runaway. Our second half of basketball, and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. And Detroit, looking at who they've got. The athletic front pair is Griffin and Drummond. Wayne Ellington is out there with Jackson, and it's Robinson in at small forward. And now looks like we've got an injury here, guys. We'll likely see him come out of the game.
And I'll tell you, this is something you never like to see.
No, obviously something that, every player fears. The NBA has made player safety a priority, but injuries continue to happen.
The Pistons making a change here. Smith has checked in. Smith against Westbrook. He kicks to George. Over Robinson. George with the bucket. George has got the first bucket of the third here for Oklahoma City.
Well, the efficiency with the mid-range game, Paul George has always possessed.
Nice ball movement by Detroit. Lobbed up there for Drummond, and it's Drummond with the jam.
And how sweet a play was that?
As sweet as it gets, an exquisite pass to set up the powerful alley-oop dunk. And that was an unleashed chaos moment indeed. What a spectacular play, sponsored by Under Armour Hover Havoc. To the middle, here's Westbrook, and they call the foul, so he's got the and one chance here to make it a three-point play.
And that bucket adds to what has been a big difference in points in the paint between the two teams.
Well, free throw off from Westbrook.
And Paul George, a terrific two-way player, an all-star, an all-NBA performer, and multiple all-defense selections.
Second half of basketball, just over a minute played so far. Robinson misses.
The defense lost him there, and he should have made him pay.
And Paul George has made it a goal to win Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean, he's got tremendous length and quickness, but really his pride at that end of the floor might matter even more. He just takes great pride in being a complete player.
And here's Griffin following Russell Westbrook's three. And Drummond kicks to Ellington. Plenty of room to knock down the shot. Ellington's got 7.
That's an example of great communication. He knows the spot to get to, and the pass is waiting for him.
Morris outside, 20 feet out, and another assist.
That makes 15 assists.
He's been one step ahead of the defense all game long. Drummond dishes to Smith. Here's Griffin, and Adams sends it back.
And the defense of Steven Adams is so important to this team. They depend on him to be a rim protector now.
Westbrook double teamed and wrestling for it there, but no one has possession. We'll have a jump ball. And so it's Oklahoma City with it. Right wing. And here's Felton from the arc. Rebound Andre Drummond. Drummond's got rebound number 17, if you can believe that.
But only the first miss of the second half. They've come out here with authority.
Now here's Ellington. He has 7. Smith on the wing. He's covered by Westbrook. Smith, no luck.
Well, he gets the separation he needs. You can't say the same for his aim, though.
Westbrook against Smith. Oh, Morris in position, and stolen by Drummond. Robinson passes to Smith. Back to George. Over Robinson. George, no good.
You know what? Those are shots you just hate to miss when you get those kinds of bunnies on a possession.
And that one's good, Griffin.
And just the sheer power of Griffin, one of the best finishers in the league after contact.
Westbrook against Smith. Here's George, and he buries that one, drilling the rim on the way down. George has got 26 points. Pistons trailed by 21. Now a timeout called by Detroit. Doris, this term +6 coming into the lexicon describes a player whose wingspan exceeds his height by at least 6 inches. I know you've heard that before.
Yeah, well, we can think of several players who fit this description of the +6. Electric young players like Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard, the Claw. The Claw extends to his wingspan as well. And then Draymond Green, who in the fourth quarter defensively can seem like a player who's everywhere at every moment.
Robertson, he's checked in for Raymond Felton. And Adams sends it back. And it's out of bounds for the Pistons as Detroit retains possession. Second half here. We're just over 3.5 minutes into it. Griffin finds Drummond. And it's time for an injury report. Let's get an update on Jackson. What's the status, Dave?
Hi, guys. The head athletic trainer for Detroit gave us some status update. He told me that in his opinion, the injury does not appear to be too serious. Of course, the schedule is getting extremely demanding at this time of the season, and that injury is only going to make things worse. Kevin?
Okay, Dave, thanks. Sounds like he won't be out for too long. Here's Westbrook, following the basket by Blake Griffin. Back to Westbrook. Kicks to George. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. Andre Drummond picks one up.
Now, you have got to give Paul George so much respect. He's just amazing at drawing contact when he's shooting.
The Thunder have gone 9 of 13 from the line. And he knocks down the first one. And both free throws good for Paul George. Here's Smith. 7 points in the game. He gets a chance now to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, it is the era of positionless basketball, but how exactly did we get here? Well, new defensive rules at the turn of the century encouraged face-up scoring, motion-based offense, and guard play over isolation and post-ups. As a result, offensive roles have become more interchangeable.
It has become a positionless game now. David, thank you very much. Robinson, that's good.
He can be a forgotten man in their offense sometimes, but the D still has to keep an eye on him.
Westbrook kicks to Morris, to the wing on the left. Here's Robertson, outside Westbrook. Can't connect from short range.
Really surprising to see the huge edge they have in rebounds, given what the scoreboard says.
George against Robinson. Outside Griffin. Clock at 4. Morris with the block.
Well, the tools, the instincts to do this on a more regular basis are certainly there for Markieff Morris. He gets every bit of that one.
Kennard, he's checked in for Detroit. The Thunder leading by 16. Bounce pass from Westbrook. The shot by George, no good.
And so much for repeating the three-point barrage he put on in the first half. Nothing here in the second.
Exactly the kind of ball movement they're looking for.
And it's the Thunder with the ball. Their biggest lead of the game was 21. So it's off to Brooklyn after this game as they have the Nets to look forward to. And that game will be game 2 of 3 straight on the road. Back to Westbrook. Got a piece of it. And stolen by Drummond. Now it's Griffin running. Here he goes. Sailing in. Oh! Goodness. Wow.
Well, anyone looking for highlights? Because you just found one. How about the creativity there in the air?
Now a timeout called by Oklahoma City. Andre Drummond in his mid-20s. He's led the league in rebounding 3 consecutive seasons. And Greg, last season was his best one yet.
Really, I think, established himself as a franchise player for the Pistons. They'll go as far as he can take them. At the same time, though, I think the acquisition of Blake Griffin will only help to mature his game.
Pachulia, he's checked in for Detroit. Langston Galloway comes in for Wayne Ellington. Patterson, he's checked in for Oklahoma City. Dennis Schroeder comes in for Russell Westbrook.
Boy, his output has been impressive today, and it doesn't look like he's done cooking just yet.
Here's Smith. He's got 7. Passes it to Galloway. He kicks it to Griffin. Smith outside. Back to Griffin. Pass to Galloway. 5 on the clock. Launches a 3. Another 3 for Detroit.
Well, Galloway just so explosive. He shines when the ball is in his hands in a pick-and-roll situation.
Robertson, the pass to Patterson. In the corner, it's Morris. Trying to answer back, but that 3 is off the mark. Pistons trail by 11. Here's Griffin. That's good, and so Galloway with the assist. 13 points for Blake Griffin.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
The pass to George. Now Morris. Back to George. Poked away. Here's Galloway. 5 points in the game. No coverage that time. Griffin's got 10 points in just the second half.
He has certainly done his part this period. Just needs to get a little more help from his teammates.
Robertson kicks to Patterson. Back to Robertson. On the wing, George. 30 points in the game. And George gets the whistle that time. That'll be his second foul of the game. Detroit's gone 2 of 3 when they ventured outside the arc in the third quarter. Smith against Schroeder. Pass to Griffin. Over Morris.
Aggressive defense by Morris right there, making that shot so tough.
Griffin can't get it to go in. Patterson finds George. To the left wing. And they call an illegal screen here.
And now a look at Blake Griffin. Unbelievable play for him over the last month. 15th in scoring, and he's among the top 20 players in three-point field goal percentage. He has been locked and loaded from beyond.
And yeah, one of the most dangerous scorers in the game. He's already come up big in some key games this year. His teammates really feed off his presence, I think. Now, here is Smith. He has 7. Griffin looking around. They get it again. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. Why don't we take this chance now to show you the most active wing defenders in the league? These are this season's steals leaders. At small forward, in the 3rd spot, Paul George.
I mean, if you're an opposing small forward, this could also be called a list of the league's most annoying players. I mean, they will be in your jersey all night when you're up against them.
Yeah, defense a huge point of emphasis for each of them. And it doesn't matter whether they're on the ball, as the steals suggest, or off the ball situations either. They are as active a group of defenders as you're going to see.
Makers checked in for the Pistons. And a switch here also for Oklahoma City. Grant's checked in.
I tell you, Kev, Pachulia, just one of those guys you love having on your team. He works incredibly hard, but plays with a real edge.
To end the drought. And it's good on the layup. Robertson's got his 2nd bucket.
I mean, if the defender is going to play off like that, then you know what's going to happen. There are going to be points put on the board.
Smith with it. Guarded now by Morris. Now Smith. 6 to shoot. Trying to break that ice-cold streak.
Well, twice on the pipes. Jeremy Grant says no, sir. I'll tell you, his inconsistency not helping their cause at all.
And it's Smith with the ball. He brings it up for Detroit. It's rebounded by Schroeder. Oklahoma City leading by 8. Kicks it to Robertson. And Pachulia pulls it down.
His shot's just, it's not there right now. With his team leading, perhaps, you know, let's focus on some other areas of the game.
Here's Grant. Makes it off the glass. Grant's got 10.
Indicative of what we've seen tonight. One team being the aggressor, the other failing to react.
Right, really a disappointing effort on the defensive end, not offering any challenge at all at the cup.
Now here is Smith. He's got 7. Here's Kennard. Over Grant. Kennard's shot is off. Oklahoma City's gone 6 of 14 with the 3 ball tonight. Just a little over 40%. Schroeder drains it from beyond the arc. He's got 7. Pistons trail by 13. Now here is Smith. He kicks it to Maker to halt the run. It's good. The assist that time from Smith. Smith's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. Smith against Schroeder, right wing. Robertson dishes to Grant. The 10-footer. Good for the 5th time in 5 shots. He remains perfect.
Terrific focus from Jeremy Grant. This guy understands how to take contact and fight through it.
Smith against Schroeder. 27 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Smith outside. And that one off the back of the rim and in.
Boy, that's as wide open as you're going to get. The defense needs to lock in and be better than that.
Fires the 3. But they'll get another chance. Patterson passes to Morris. Patterson with it. A second chance effort over Pachulia. Pachulia with the steal. And so it's Oklahoma City going into the break with a 10-point lead. Their lead is where it is because they've gotten good shots. A lot of good shots. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And how about a look now at our assist of the game? Brought to you by State Farm.
And I'm glad this was the pick because I love this pass. Such a great dish. That's what I call court vision.
Well, making the game easy for your teammates, Greg. All about putting them in a position to score. That's pretty.
And with 3 quarters behind us, let's see what this 4th period holds in store for us. So for Oklahoma City right now, Dennis Schroeder is out there with Robertson. Then there's Grant. Then there's Markieff Morris. And it's Noel in at the 5. Out to Morris. Doesn't get it to drop for him. And it's Detroit the other way. Ellington inside the 3-point line. Second chance shot. And Grant sends it back. And he recovers it. The Thunder leading by 10. Here's Morris. Grant, right side, fires from the corner. Offensive rebound. And that one's good. Noel. Noel's got the first points up on the board here in the 4th for Oklahoma City. Calderon kicks to Pachulia. Outside Robinson. Passes to Calderon. A floater. He takes it up and lays it in.
Boy, when you've been in the league as long as Calderon has, you pick up little moves like that. Nice floater he just hit.
Schroeder finds Noel. Here's Robertson. Schroeder outside. In the corner, it's Morris. Here's Noel. Robinson pulls it in. Robinson's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Down low. And even 3-on-3 break. Here's Schroeder. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. And Greg, certainly the knock on Dennis Schroeder is play on the defensive end.
Nobody questions how effective he is on offense. I just think he has a tendency to take a few too many plays off and too many chances on defense. If he wants to be viewed as a top point guard in this league, he'll need to show some consistency on the defensive end.
First one falls for him.
Well, Dennis Schroeder showed he can handle high usage in an offense. Was the first option for the Hawks this past season. Even with defenses keyed in on him, he was able to average right around 20 points.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pistons. Andre Drummond's checked in for Maker, and Thomas subbed in for Jose Calderon. Schroeder hits them both. And with Schroeder, he said he learned how to deal with all that extra defensive attention.
And being able to stay productive when dealing with the best opposing defender goes a long way in the NBA. Schroeder also managed to cut down on his turnovers while taking on more of a playmaker role. Strong year for him offensively, and I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to grow as a player. Well executed, and then you love the strong finish.
Yes, you love that they're not settling for anything outside the paint. Excellent work getting right to the tin.
And he drops in the layup off the glass.
Oh, my goodness. That is how to attack the rim. Don't give the defense time to react. That's beautiful.
Thomas kicks to Drummond. Just a little under 2.5 minutes have passed now here in the 4th. Thomas, good on the 13-footer.
Crafty move. He recognizes the size disadvantage, and the mid-range is close enough.
I'll tell you, that's really clever because it's not easy to get that mid-range off over a guy who's got a size advantage. He made it look easy.
And that one's good. Schroeder.
Well, I'll tell you, he's been a go-to guy for them as they've taken this lead, and he keeps coming.
And it's Thomas with the ball. He brings it up for the Detroit Pistons. We're in the final quarter of play here, 3 minutes in, and he comes up with the deuce.
And just showing you his determination despite the size difference.
I mean, how does he get that shot off? I mean, he had to angle that perfectly to get past the defender.
Now, here's Felton. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession.
Well, he's obviously anticipating different movement there, and instead of an easy connection, the pass sails straight into the front row.
Ferguson's checked in for the Thunder. Pass to Griffin. A look at the clock, a little under 3.5 minutes gone here in the 4th. It's good, and the Thunder lead is cut down to just 12 points with the basket from Ellington. Thunder have gone 4 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the 4th. Schroeder outside. And there's the pass to Ferguson. Got it. Good job in the low post. And the Thunder lead by 14.
I love this approach. Despite the lead, still attacking, adding fuel to the fire.
They are absolutely relentless right now, Greg. There's no end in sight. They are going for it.
It was all about his athleticism when Griffin first came into the league, but it didn't take long to see he was about a lot more than that. He's got serious skills down low.
Now, here's Grant. And here is Felton. Here's Ferguson. No good on the 3.
Well, in the rebounding game, at least, it's been a strong physical performance for him.
To the paint. Here's Griffin. Thunder with the rebound. Noel's got 4 rebounds now tonight. To the middle. And now the fast break. Griffin with the ball. Here's Robinson. They grab their own miss. And the shot goes in. And that's now 19 points for Blake Griffin.
And really an alert play on the glass there to get that second chance opportunity. He's having one of those games that we've really grown accustomed to seeing him put forth.
And he's back-to-back games like this. He is on a tear, competing with every ounce of energy he's got.
Here's Ferguson following the basket by Blake Griffin. Just 5 to shoot. Schroeder, and Griffin sends it back. And Dennis Schroeder gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. The Pistons making a change here. Galloway's checked in. And then for Oklahoma City, Adams, he's checked in for Grant. Paul George comes in for Terrence Ferguson. And Russell Westbrook is subbed in for Dennis Schroeder. Pistons trail by 10. Galloway, the pass to Drummond. Pistons passing it around. No good there, and that would have cut it to single digits. Westbrook finds Felton. Shoots over Ellington. Launches it. And Russell Westbrook with the 3. Westbrook's got 29.
Not shy from outside. There's no doubt about that. Spreading the floor and getting them up.
Pass to Griffin. And the shot goes in. He's got 21.
And you can just see he's a different player since coming back from halftime.
Oklahoma City leading by 11. Outside Westbrook. Kicks to Noel. Rebound by the Pistons. Robinson's got 6 rebounds in the game. On the wing, Ellington. That's good, and so Galloway with the assist. Galloway's got his 3rd assist on the night.
Yeah, great look there. Credit Galloway with the vision to spot the open man.
Now, here is George. To the inside. Felton the pass to George. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. It's going to be on Blake Griffin.
We call that masterful use of the pump fake. Paul George effective getting guys to jump on it.
Throw good, Paul George. Smith checked in for Langston Galloway. Markieff Morris is checked in for the Thunder. Andre Robertson comes in for Raymond Felton. And both free throws good for Paul George.
Yeah, and their free throw shooting has really improved here in the second half.
That's tipped. Westbrook dishes to Morris. And Morris throws it down.
Now, this is an athletic power forward, and Morris outquicks the defense to the rim.
And it's Smith with the ball. He brings it up for Detroit. There's the dish to Griffin. On the wing, Ellington. And a little luck that time, but it drops. Ellington's got 9 points here in the second half.
What a fantastic game he's had on the offensive end. If only his teammates could keep up.
Westbrook kicks to Adams. Feeds it to George. And the shot goes down. George has got 34.
Just incredible concentration. When Paul George is going strong inside, it doesn't matter what he's got to overcome.
Pass to Griffin. Back to Smith. And now Westbrook pushing it up. No one back to stop him. And Westbrook throws it down hard.
And, folks, he does more than just put 2 points onto their lead. He does it with a little bit of flair.
He sure does. You're right. It's a dazzling move to the bucket for him.
And the way he went about it, no better way to increase the lead and energizes your teammates.
Oklahoma City leading by 15. Here's the lob to Adams, and Adams with the slam.
Oh, such a beautiful pass to set that one up.
Yeah, the pass might have been pretty, but the finish was angry. Smith in the posts. He's covered by Westbrook. They get it again. And Adams sends it back. Westbrook against Smith. And here we go. Fast break. Ellington's got the ball. And it falls over the rim and in. Ellington's got 9 points now in the quarter.
And they're leaning on the mid-range right now. That's 6 of their last 10 from that area.
And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Ish Smith. That's his 3rd foul of the game. For the Pistons, Pachulia. He's checked in for Drummond. And Langston Galloway subbed in for Ish Smith. On defense, the Pistons, 15-point game. Westbrook with the bucket.
Well, why not, Kevin, right? When Russell Westbrook is working to the degree he is tonight, why wouldn't you consistently run your offense through him? It makes perfect sense.
Now a timeout called by Detroit.
You see, Markieff Morris to me is a guy I want on my team. He came into the league as a tremendous mid-range shooter, but he understands today's NBA, you need the three-point ball as part of your arsenal, and he's worked to get it. You know he's going to rebound. He's going to defend at a high level. I love Markieff Morris.
And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, Russell Westbrook.
And what an amazing ball game we've seen from him. It's been a one-man show worth the price of admission all by itself. There wasn't anything he couldn't do on that court tonight.
Well, to come in here facing a hostile crowd and have a game like he's had, that's what separates the good players from the great players. Smith against Westbrook. Smith outside. Griffin. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City. You're talking about Morris. You need guys on the roster who complement everyone, yet give you consistent production.
Maybe the best attribute of Markieff Morris is the edge he plays with, because when he's engaged, he can give you a level of physicality that's crucial in today's NBA. There's a tough guy attitude that he wears on his sleeve, and I love it.
For 3, Ellington. It's hauled in by George. And it's Oklahoma City's ball. They're on a 12-4 run right now. Westbrook double team. And George kicks to Robertson. That falls. Nice feed that time from George. George has got 6 assists in the game. Here's Smith.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Here's Griffin.
And guys, this is where their depth really comes into play. They've got such talent at that position. They'd love to have him out there, but they won't suffer much of a drop-off.
The first free throw is good.
And Griffin has battled knee injuries during his career, but his persistence is incredible. Still a nightly double-double threat.
Pass to Adams. And Adams with the slam.
It feels like that one could be the dagger. Not enough time to completely erase this deficit.
Well, Greg, it's going to be tough, that's for sure. A shot like that has to devastate the other team.
And so it's Detroit with the ball. The Thunder making the shot. Here's Griffin. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Griffin's got 26.
And so just rolling to the finish line now in what has been a very confident-looking performance for Oklahoma City.
Their superior ball handling won it for them.
And fewer turnovers equals greater scoring opportunities. Any coach will tell you that. If you take care of the ball every possession, and this is a perfect example of what happens when you do.
And this will be a big win for them. Lucky win number 13 now in the bag.
And so they win their first game against this squad. It's a 2-game season series, and they'll be going for the sweep the next time they face off.
And one of the key components to this victory, if not the biggest, was the incredible performance for Russell Westbrook.
Boy, his activity really stood out to me on the defensive end. He harassed ball handlers, came up with steals in transition. You had the feeling guys were looking over their shoulder, worried he was going to pick their pocket.
Here's Griffin. Steven Adams making his last shot.
2 shots, gentlemen. 2. 2 shots.
He misses the free throw. Kennard, he's checked in for the Pistons. Langston Galloway comes in for Wayne Ellington. Patterson, he's checked in for Oklahoma City. He hits the second from the line.
You know, he doesn't shrink the lead as much as he should have. That hurts a bit.
Westbrook against Smith. And Patterson kicks to George. Left side, Adams. Lobbed up there for Westbrook. Up high to stuff the alley-oop.
And this is how you close out a game, not taking any chances.
Well, you can't have any room for error late in a game like this, so they put the finishing touches in style. I love how they closed.
Here's Smith. Gets an open look and hits.
All right, he's got to quit while he's ahead. He got away with it there, but the crossover usually gets him into a bit of trouble.
Here's Robertson. So no problem for Oklahoma City as they get the win. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
That's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much, Paul. Congrats on the win. Where's your team's attitude right now?
Continue to, play together. And we can just stick to that, keep working, staying confident, keep defending, and knocking shots down. We'll be all right.
Looked like it all came together tonight, Paul. Thanks very much. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you later.